All right, my man. First up, I want to talk about this Netflix thing. From Variety, let me bring the viewer over. From Variety, Netflix picks France to test first linear offering. The initiative marks Netflix's first foray into real-time scheduled programming. The service previously tested the option of shuffle play, which wasn't in real time but featured a recommended programming to a sample of international users. Explained a source at Netflix. The difference this time around is that the test is being used at certain countries and a certain sample of users. On the website, Netflix said it chose France to test its first linear channel due to the consumption of traditional television in France. Quote, in France, watching traditional TV remains hugely popular with people who just want a lean back experience where they don't have to choose shows, says Netflix. Quote, we're trying a new feature for our members in France called Direct. Maybe you're in the mood to decide, or maybe you're new and finding your way around, or you just want to be surprised by something new and different, said Netflix. All right, my man, I think you and I have been on Netflix for I don't know. I've been on Netflix since before it was popular to be on Netflix. I was on Netflix when it was just DVDs.
I know. I was about to say, I used to get discs in the mail and send them back.
Yeah, I actually still did that. And Netflix actually still does, in fact, offer that service.
Oh, really?
Yeah, side note on that service, you can, the mail Netflix option does actually have a much wider array of movies and television shows. It is literally anything that has ever been released on Blu-ray or DVD. You can get Blu-ray. It's a massive library, and you can... I forget how much it was. I don't do it anymore, but for a certain price, you can just get literally anything delivered to you. Back then, there was actually a part of Netflix, I don't know if you remember this, that was like a social aspect of it, where they had people who actually recommended movies, and there was actually a rating system for all movies.
Yeah, and there was a message board. There was a big message board. Yeah. I remember that.
The big message board, and there was curated lists that people made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually missed that about Netflix. And I used to actually think about what if Netflix did a curated just channel thing that you could just flip through to watch.
This is interesting. I like this concept because I guess I'm old school a little bit, and I'm one of those people. I like to have channels just to see what's on, because there's certain movies that will just come on that I'm like, okay, I can stand to watch this, that I don't know if I would go out and pick. So I like having those those HBO channels or something that are just playing what's on, just because I rather interact or just stumble upon a movie like that. And I kind of enjoy watching a movie that's already halfway through itself. I just ran into Point Break. Yeah, I'd never seen it before, and I watched it the night before last. I watched it because it was on TV.
The original?
And then, what's up?
The original Point Break?
Oh yeah. With Keanu and Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I was just like, wow, this is a good movie. And I got tired of watching commercials. So I actually then went on to another service, got it, rented it, and then started watching it. Picked it up where I stopped, and then watched the rest of it, and then watched the beginning just so I could still be in that same moment. And it was a great movie. It reminded me a lot of Heat, the things I love about Heat when I encountered Heat for the first time, which was 5 years ago. And both of these movies are early 90s movies that I absolutely love now. But here's one. I'm reading the fine print, Arnie. I don't mean to go too long, but I'm reading the fine print, and the people who brought this over are Canal Plus and Orange. Orange is Singular Wireless in France. They're literally like, they look exactly like Singular Wireless. So they're basically AT&T. What we know as AT&T is Orange. And so like they got a,
it's like Telcel in Mexico.
Yeah, they have, yes. And they have like a telephone company doing this Netflix thing. And like, it's just so interesting, that quote that you read, that like people like to watch TV. Well, this channel isn't going to be like, the way I watch Netflix is like, I have it on an app on my television. I don't know how you watch. I think you have like a Roku or something. And like,
I have many devices.
Right. But still, that's just like the normal like way you consume it is like through something like Roku, or, you know, I have my Apple TV. I have like a regular TV that I have an app on. They said that this particular channel service will only be available on the web browser version of Netflix, which doesn't even make sense to me. Everything that we've read so far in this article does not make sense why it's only going to be released on a web portal version only of Netflix.
For sure, and that's a good point to bring up, for sure. But at the end of the day, this is all still being tested, right? And it's only going to be happening in France. It's only going to be in that area, right? It's definitely got some caveats to it. It's an interesting thing that they're finally doing that I've wanted them to do for a long time. And kind of like backtracking to like your Point Break thing, there was a lot of movies and culture that I would have not have known about if it not had been for me just kind of scrolling through HBO, scrolling through channels as a kid. Specifically, Kevin Smith movies. I would have not known about Kevin Smith if I had not had the pleasure of running into Mallrats at 2 o'clock in the morning on a fucking summer night in the fucking sixth grade, right?
Yeah.
I things like that I would not have discovered if it had not been for some sort of just curated thing or channel thing that it's going, right?
No, you're right. It's interesting that they're going at it now, because I just think this is something that still exists. This isn't like Amazon going brick and mortar to me. This is like something that's still in our everyday lives. And I feel like they're a little late to the game. I think they should have gone a little earlier, but yeah.
I'd imagine that maybe, and the reason that they're doing this through a kind of it's kind of like a through an intermediary. I'd imagine that maybe they don't want to spend the processing power on this type of thing, because I'd imagine that. I mean, also Netflix is also one of the biggest companies in the world. They are up there with Google, with Amazon, as being some of the biggest tech companies in the world, and I'd imagine they have the processing power to create these kind of channels. I don't know.
You're saying that they don't want to wake up one Wednesday morning and their site not work?
yeah, like YouTube.
I didn't say anything.
It's weird. Yeah.
Thank you for publishing on
YouTube went down today. Weird. You didn't go crazy. I didn't go crazy. Oh, by the way, I hope to God this records, because I forgot to hit the record button on my OBS. Hopefully it's on there. Hopefully it's on the YouTube channel so I can download it later.
You might watch this and lose it accidentally.
Yeah. Damn. Either way. But like I think it just kind of makes sense, you know? Like Netflix has original programming, and they license a whole bunch of programming. I mean, I guess as Americans, we're just like used to at this point, like just picking and choosing what we want, reading things like that. But I know that there are plenty of Americans who are still in that world of just flipping through channels. I know that personally, I'm not that person. I have a cable service through my AT&T wireless simply so I could watch sports, basically. And also so that I can, watch a couple of TV shows that send, it has happened like maybe 15 years ago. Like basically everything that you subscribe to on your cable network gives you an on-demand option. That's really the only reason I even still have that option as well, so that I could just flip through the stuff on demand after it's been shown, or for the DVR functionality of it. I think this is a no-brainer, and something that eventually is going to come to America. I don't know. I think it is an opportunity, and I think it's an opportunity that they haven't like brought up into the forefront for a while, and I think it's something they've probably been thinking about. And the only reason they're doing it apparently is because the French specifically are like just really into flipping channels.
They're weird, man. They still like, I think they still sit around a radio to me.
Makes sense.